serve our God. Luke 174. Hey, 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 we just wanna serve our God. With joyness and gladness of heart, we're the ones that He chose from the start. Now we coming back to our Lord. We just wanna serve our God. Yeah, we just wanna serve our God.
Check. All right, let's see where we at. All right. Man, we lost the whole thing. Goodness gracious. We back, y'all. We back. Something happened with the internet.
They said they exposing too much. Shut them down.
Dang. Mess up the. See now, and you know what? Even if the thing stays stable, it serves its purpose because now continuity's lost. So if somebody's watching and they see it cut, they might not know to go and see the rest of this.
See where we dropped off.
Oh man, that's terrible. That's terrible.
But you know, it says all things work together for good.
Dang. All right, I'm gonna give it a few and see if some people queue back in. We lost all the viewers.
That's wild. We was at 400 and now we're at 43.
And make sure you like, share, and all of that because it's a whole new link. Do that.
Yeah, share so people can get back. I'm gonna give it a little. A little bit here.
The build up.
Let's see. Like and share.
Hey, Deacon, when it comes to his doctrines, how you were talking about, could you also use Psalms where it talks about they wet their tongues as swords the same way? Though he's not speaking it, he's using his words in the doctrines that he's prescribing to weaponize it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. Yeah, we live. All right, let's see. People coming back in. Damn, we lost all them people. Hey, as you come back in, hit that like though too, all right? Let's get this popping. Let's get it going. All right, I'm going to jump back in it for the sake of time, right? For the sake of time. I'm going to keep moving on it, all right? Well, you know what? Let me give you a few in the meantime. How you like the new wide shots? I think I like it better than that little sideways shot.
Showing the feet hanging off from the ground.
Right, and the feet hanging off from the ground.
Right.
You know, my muffin top when I sit down. Nah, it ain't that bad. All right. Damn, only 70 watching. Everybody thought it. Man. You know, and then we on earlier too. I think people came late because they didn't realize that we on earlier because we don't change the time.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Got some feedback. They like the angles from the different wide shots. All right. I like that one. That one that's up there now. I really like. I think that's a good one. This one's all right. Well, maybe we could play with that one. I don't know. It's all right though. I'll take it for now. They can see the whole studio. All right. So I was talking about WinSec, all right? Let's get WinSec back up on the screen. I'm just going to keep moving along because we wait for everybody to come back. They can catch it if they really want to watch it. So
yeah, I'm posting it on all the socials, so check it out. Make sure y'all share with all your peoples. Get them back in here, all right?
We back. All right. So we were talking about WinSec, right? Let's put that up in the Wikipedia, and let's just read the first couple paragraphs, right?
The Institute was founded in 1946. By the year 2000, more than 60,000 Latin
No, start from the beginning.
All the way at the top?
Yeah, because we cut off.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
The Western Hemisphere Institute for Security Cooperation, WinSec, formerly the School of the Americas, is a United States Department of Defense school located at Fort Benning, briefly known as Fort Moore, in Columbus, Georgia, the school being renamed in the 2001 National Defense Authorization Act.
Right. So what wound up happening was it's not as profound as it once was, okay? But in its heyday, it was the spot, right? And you're going to read some of its alumni, but let's keep going. Come on.
The Institute was founded in 1946. By the year 2000, more than 60,000 Latin American military, law enforcement, and security personnel had attended the school.
Mm-hmm.
The school was located in the Panama Canal Zone until its expulsion in 1984.
Right, so they had it right there in the heart of Latin America, and then it was expelled, and then they moved to Fort Benning, Georgia, right? Go ahead, come on.
When the Institute was still known as the School of the Americas, it had what it described as a hall of fame honoring its most accomplished alumni, and included Bolivian dictator General Hugo Banzer Suarez, drug lord and dictator Manuel Noriega, and Guatemalan General Manuel Antonio Callejas y Callejas.
Callejas y Callejas. So look at what their motto is, okay? Libertad, paz y fraternidad. Freedom, peace, and fraternity, or like brotherhood, right? And it's such a farce, right? Because what they really did is they trained officers, special forces, they trained intelligence operatives, future coup leaders, and dictators from Latin America. What were they trained in? Counterinsurgency. So if the people try to rise up against them, all right? Interrogation and torture, okay? Population control, psychological warfare, how to suppress opposition, and how to conduct coups. The result of it was many of the graduates went home and led coups that they advised them to lead. They commanded death squads to kill off the opposition, right? They ruled as dictators, and they worked closely with U.S. interests. And that's being the key part there. They did all this with U.S. interest in mind. Let's get 1 Maccabees 8 and 11.
So is this a form like a form of trick baby? Similar.
Kind of, but it's more about what we read right here. 1 Maccabees 8 and 11.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 8 and verse 11. It was told him, besides, how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms and isles that at any time resisted them. But with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept amity, and that they had conquered kingdoms, both far and nigh, insomuch as all that heard of their name were afraid of them.
Right, because if they knew that you came from that, they taught them how to terrorize the people.
Right.
And they said, oh, snap, they were trained at that school. The school became notorious, right? Yeah. And it was like, oh, this is a graduate from there. Then we know what's in store. This guy's not playing. Go ahead, come on.
Also that, whom they would help to a kingdom.
And that's the point, because many of them, they did, and they said, we'll back you, and then you can be the ruler of that country. Right? Go ahead, come on.
Those reign. And whom again they displaced.
That's exactly what happened in the region during those times. Yeah, they followed the same tactics because why? They're the same people, right? They're the same people who they wanted to put in place. They put in power. When it was time to take them down, they displaced them by someone else that was willing to do it so that they could be put in power. Go ahead, come on.
Finally, that they were greatly exalted. Yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby.
Right, so they didn't do it as far as making them kings, right? But essentially, for all intents and purposes, that's what they were. They did it under the guise, right? That's the false elections and so on and so forth, right? Let's get Sirach 10. Make sure this is what I want. And 8.
The book of Sirach, chapter 10 and verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit.
Damn.
The kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Right, so this is... What?
What?
Oh my God.
What is going on?
What the hell was that? What do we got? Gremlins in the booth?
What's happening? Oh my God.
It's like I took some helium. Nah, they hit something.
Hold
Look
on.
at Shy's face. They hit something. See, that's why I got the glass.
Now I'm convinced
That's
that.
why I got the glass so I could see.
Bro,
His
that
face.
was funny.
He hit something.
Bro, there's a coup against Deacon
Right.
Joshua in his class right
Oh
now.
my goodness. It's them in the booth.
What's happening?
What
I said, what the hell was that?
Bruh.
Yeah, that was wild.
Read the verse again. They threw me the hell off with that.
Verse 8.
The book of Sirach, chapter 10 and verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Right. So, obviously that's talking about Israel in that regard. But the same tactics were used, and they move what? They move these countries, they maintain control, right? From one to another, right? So the U.S. didn't just intervene. It trained the men who would rule based on their interests, right? Like what we read in Maccabees, right? To whom they were with, they would help to a kingdom. Who they wanted to exalt and who they wanted to displace, right? That's modern Rome.
Right. I was just going to say that. In Rome, they set up the Pharisees to control the Jews and do
Yes.
exactly what the Romans wanted them to do.
Same thing.
Nothing has
same thing.
changed.
And even in the time of the Maccabees, because that was
Right,
their
and the
MO,
Ma- and the
right? That's why they
Maccabees,
went to them for help, right? So what did they do? Modern Rome made treaties. They trained leaders. They put them in power, and they controlled them through aid, weapons, and support. Same exact spirit, same exact thing, right? That's the sword. It's not just weapons, but trained men that were loyal to the empire. So now you got doctrine, now you got the decree, and now you got the sword, right? It's the teaching, it's the laws they do, and then it's the enforcement arm, right? And it was all under the guise of the school, right? So they have these patterns of how they operate in these things. I'm going to go to that in a second. Let me see what else we got here. There was another video I wanted to show. Go back to the videos. Okay. The one where it says Omi's World, how the U.S. got control of South, right there. Let's listen to this one. This one's a little longer, but this one kind of gives a little bit of a summation of all this stuff. Get the volume going, all right? Get the volume going, right? This one's about just under 3 minutes. We're going to watch the whole thing. Come on.
Something that we often don't talk about, right? Because most of us don't know. And in the last few weeks, I've been doing a lot of research, which I myself have been very shocked at what I've learned. So I'm creating a series to talk
Go
about
back.
the
Yeah, let's pause on that, where it shows the U.S. back coups. Right? Right there. Right? So, the red shaded areas is all the U.S. back coup attempts in Latin America between 1948 and 2019. From when they started the School of America. That's modern times. We're not talking about something that was in the 1800s.
Right. That's all of South America.
That's all of South and Central America, barring barring Ecuador, right?
Yeah.
You see that there. Colombia doesn't look like it had a coup there.
That's crazy.
What's that over there? Is that
That's like
Guyana?
Guyana,
That's
the one.
Guyana, right? And then I think the middle is Bolivia. But they did some stuff in Bolivia too. They did some stuff in Bolivia, right? Guatemala, Nicaragua, Panama, right?
All those places.
Panama used to be Colombia. There's a whole history behind that,
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
right? Costa Rica, Salvador. Anyway, go ahead, keep playing.
So I'm creating a series to talk about the realities of U.S. intervention in Latin America. Everywhere from Argentina to Mexico, the things that you will learn are just crazy. I mean, we're talking about setting up a school to train military officers who later became dictators in Argentina, Panama, Guatemala, Peru. Talk about CIA coups how they overthrew democratic governments, civil wars, famine, all led by the U.S. in the name of power and greed. In order to understand U.S. intervention in Latin America, you have to go back to the past to 1823 when the Monroe Doctrine was established. So in 1823, President James Morgan stood before Congress and warned Europe to stay out of the Americas. Because at the time, most of Latin America had just broken free from European powers like Spain and Portugal. But there were concerns about Europe coming back and taking control of some of these countries again. Now, that warning became known as the Monroe Doctrine, and it was because the U.S. wanted to make sure that Europe knew that you don't come to this side of our hood, right? Like, this Western Hemisphere is ours and we were protected as such. Paper, it sounded great, right? Like defending democracy, amazing. But the reality is that it became the foundation of U.S. imperialism, justification to interfere anywhere in Latin America for the next 200 years. Now, I just want to point out, amigos, that the Monroe Doctrine consulted not one Latin American country. There was no vote, no treaty, no signature. It was the U.S. declaring all of the Western Hemisphere its sphere of influence. Now, keep in mind,
So
amigos,
stop.
that
Why was that? Because we were basically still enslaved. We were just coming out under the oppression of European countries, right? And many of the rulers that they had in place were Europeans, right? That they had ruling as presidents and different things like that. So there was no come and let's talk to the people and see what they want,
We
right?
had no voice.
Because we were coming out of captivity under first Spain and then Portugal and everybody else that tried to come over there and take over, right? Go ahead, come on.
U.S. was a very young country. I mean, it was established in 1776. At this time, it was 1823. So they didn't really have a lot of that power. But in 1904, the Monroe Doctrine became a weapon due to President Roosevelt. President Roosevelt added a proposition that said that the U.S. had a right to step into any Latin American country if they were deemed to cause trouble. The thing about Theodore Roosevelt is that he grew up steeped in manifest destiny rhetoric, which is the ideology that the U.S. was divinely chosen to expand throughout North America. Keep in mind, amazing, that this is the very same man that said that civil nations like the UK and the US had a duty to manage less civilized nations like Africa, Asia, and Latin America. This gave permission for the US to invade, create civil wars, overthrow governments, set up dictatorships that aid the US in their their own interests. And this is why so many Latin American countries are where they are today. I mean, we are living in the shadows of the Monroe Doctrine. Even still, it's been rebranded in so many different ways. In the 1930s, it became being a good neighbor. During the Cold War, it was fighting communism. And today, it's a national security. But it's all different words under the same idea. The U.S. has the right to decide what happens.
56 U.S. military interventions in Latin America. I think we have this graphic saved separately. And it goes into detail about all the different ones and what they did in there, okay? So it shows you the interventions. It shows where U.S. troops were actually currently on the ground, and then where they have bases now to this day, right? And it covers the DR, Puerto Rico, all this stuff. I think with the last time I did the Monroe Doctrine class, I had a bigger version of this that we had up. But go ahead, come on.
In Latin America. So yeah, these are just a few things that a lot of conservatives forget about, right? Because it doesn't suit them. Someone in my Banana Wars video commented, well, that was in the 1940s. What is excused now? It's so clear that people just don't understand the long-term effects of what a dictatorship does. Right. Decades and decades of dictatorships in countries that once had healthy, thriving democracies. But anyway, Miggy, stay tuned, follow along. We're going to start hitting back on these stupid conservative talking points.
Right. So, this is pretty profound when you think about it, because a lot of people say, well, that was then. Wasn't that long ago, and the impacts of it are felt today, right? That was the whole Harvest of Empire topic and series that I went over, that a lot of the mass migration that happens here is because of a result of what the United States did over there, right? And they talk about, Trump calls them shithole countries, but the U.S. made them that way, right? And they want to keep it that way because what they really want is just the resources, right? They want to roll with that. What else we got? See if there's any other videos before I go back to my notes and my plan. All right. So, eliminate that. Yeah. Let me see what else we got that might be worthwhile. Nope, I don't want to do that one. Nope. I mean, don't lose any of this because there's some stuff here that maybe we can go into next week and stuff like that. There was one where there was a chick talking that said that she basically wants to give away Venezuela. I don't see that one here. And I know I posted that one. And she's like the one who won the Nobel Peace Prize this year. And there's a whole clip of her. I'm almost positive I sent that at some point. And there's a whole clip of her. And she's basically subtly offering up Venezuela, like with all the resources and stuff like that, like saying like you don't got to deal with the other side of the earth. But anyway, you guys could try to see if you could find that. Let me see what this says. We could read this because there's some controversy, right? They say Che Guevara was Irish, right? But I don't know that an Irishman would fight so hard for Latin Americans in that regard.
Right,
a lot of times they try to do that.
I think the spirit bears witness.
Because they say Frederick Douglass was Edom, but look at how hard he went for his people. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know about that, but let's read this real quick about Che Guevara.
Che Guevara was in Guatemala in 1954 when the CIA overthrew the government of Jacobo Arbenz.
Right. This is what we just saw the short clip on, the 1 minute clip about Guatemala. Go ahead, come on.
To protect the interests of the United Fruit Company, now Chiquita.
So Chiquita, right, where you get your Chiquita bananas, right? Primarily, that's the United Fruit Company that overthrew governments in Latin America. Go ahead, come on.
Arbenz had not armed the workers and peasants to defend the state against foreign interference. The episode shaped Guevara's views about the necessity of revolutionary armed struggle as a bulwark against the U.S. imperialism in the region, a view that has been vindicated again and again.
Go ahead, next one. There's a slide, so can you go to the next slide? Go ahead, come on.
In Guatemala, U.S.-backed death squads would kill over 200,000 people in the violence that followed the coup. Part of a genocidal war against communism and indigenous peoples, armed revolutionary struggles have been the only durable safeguards against such violence. There is no clearer affirmation of the revolutionary character of the Bolivarian project and the commitment of the Venezuelan people to then President Maduro's willingness to arm the country's workers against imperialist invasion.
Go ahead, come on.
Israel later trained and supplied most of the weapons to counter-revolutionary groups who massacred and displaced indigenous and campesino people.
So stop. All of a sudden, you're reading all this, right? And everybody kind of was like, okay, yeah, because I'm reinforcing the little video we saw. Israel, the Israelis were involved and also trained and supplied most of the weapons, all right, to the ones who massacred. They basically were in support of these things, right? I mean, they came to help them because they want to set up things and establishments there too. That's why Argentina is the way it is now. Most of the indigenous have been largely pushed to small outskirts of it. They're trying to get the whole. When we were there in Argentina and in Chile, they kept talking about they want to get. I don't know if you heard about Patagonia. I think I mentioned this on another show too.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you that Patagonia is all wild, but they want to create like a Riviera, New Israel type of thing over there in Patagonia, right? And they're trying to negotiate with those governments to do that. But they were involved in those things. And notice, why would Israel, which was a baby country at the time, right? Because School of the Americas came when? 1948?
Right.
When was Israel established?
1948.
So they came to help during those years.
This little country.
Why? Because they knew that the 10 tribes resided here.
That's why.
So they targeted indigenous and campesino people. Campesinos like somebody from like the towns, like you would say
El
hick
campo.
or whatever,
The
like el
land.
campo, right? A campesino, right? You were gonna say something?
I was saying I got that video. I'm gonna send it to him.
Oh, with the chick?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, go ahead. Come on.
My village is located in the mountainous region that borders Nicaragua. That's how Contras entered. Che Guevara was in Guatemala.
Oh, that's it. So I think that's it. That's all the slides, right? So you can understand what was happening there in that regard. What else we got up here? What else we got while you pull up that video?
Bruh, he keep us not at home.
Right. I got that for later too when we go to close out. I know I had some good footage and stuff, so I don't want to take some of this away. What's that photo with the writing? Was that the one you did with the AI summary? That was, right? It's okay.
Yeah,
No.
that was the AI summary on the far left.
Man.
Man,
And then you think about it.
What's the one that says military? Put that. Military intervention won't help the Venezuelan people. While you put that up. Military intervention won't help the Venezuelan people. Let's look at this real quick while I get the video ready. Right?
Deacon, that did a full circle back to Crafty Council.
Yes, it did.
Balfour Declaration with the Monroe Doctrine. What
Yes.
they did there, everything.
Yes.
That's-
All of it. Right?
I got it posted for y'all too.
Come on. Let's read this so you can understand this. And this is from somebody who's in the administration now, right? Go ahead. Come on.
Throughout history, every time the U.S. topples a foreign country's dictator or government, the outcome has been disastrous. Civil war or military intervention in Venezuela will wreak death and destruction to Venezuelan people and increase tensions that threaten our national security.
So he's trying to frame it as coming in there. So he's saying drugs, and then they're going to try to frame it as being liberators.
Right.
But it never works when they do that because it's the same vicious cycle of displacement and exalting. Helping someone to a kingdom and then taking them off, right? And then because they're U.S. interest minded and not their own, right? I firmly believe that I'm not saying that Maduro might not have people in his administration that might have some bad intentions that might be tied to things.
Right.
I can't speak to that. Nobody, I think, really can, right? But I know what he says, and he speaks plain against the United States and what's really at play. Right? So he's speaking true words, and I see the gaslighting that's coming from here, right? Versus what he's saying from what I do know, what we do know is verifiable, right? I think there's a part of him that's willing to accept the deal for amnesty because I think deep down he knows that they can't hold it off, and he knows that the result that if they came in and fought and toppled him, that it would be worse for the country.
Right.
I think there's a part of him that's willing to give it all up if it's a different type of transition than the military coming in and then having U.S.-backed leaders there, right? That's just my take on it. Who really knows what's going on? But looking at this stuff over and over, just like I think Fidel Castro in the beginning had good intentions, and through the process of time, maybe just things happen. I just think there's a lot of things that we don't know, And then, it's also different for the people living on the ground.
Right.
Getting worn down.
Yep.
They're only going to stay off ideals so long when they're hungry and they don't have electricity and they see that they're behind the rest of the world, that, that they only get water on certain days of the week and that things are rationed. I mean,
Yeah, that's a good point.
you're only going to stand against that, right? And then you see that there's no way to win.
Right.
They get wore down eventually and just
Defeated.
wave the white flag.
Right, they're worn down. Yeah, that's it. So this is the chick that won the Nobel Peace Prize, and then allegedly she offered it. All right, so her name is Maria Corina Machado. Don't be surprised if you see her as not the new president after we see what happens in Venezuela bounces off, but something somewhere, a diplomat or something, right?
Maggie B's 8.
She's ready to hand Venezuela over, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if, she's part of the European descendancy of what's going on over there, right? Go ahead, come on.
Forget about Saudi Arabia. Forget about the Saudis. I mean, we have more.
Stop. And if you don't know, that's Donald Trump's son.
Wow. Wow.
That she's on his podcast.
Is that the one that got caught with drugs in the White House?
I don't know. I can't keep up with those.
Look, she's selling.
I think that's Don Jr. And then the other one is Barron. That's the young one.
Okay.
I don't know if it was Don. I don't think it was. I think it's the other one that got caught with drugs, Barron.
Okay.
Look it up. I'm not sure.
I'm curious.
She's already selling Venezuela.
So listen to what she's saying. She's basically subtly letting them know, right? Look at what she's saying. Like, and so she's lining herself up that if you do what you need to do and put me in a position where I can do this, she's saying, forget about Saudi Arabia and their oil and kissing the Muslims' ass, right? It's all about the resources. Go ahead, scroll back. Start it from the beginning.
You know what I think about? I think it was Sleepy Joe.
Yeah.
No. Hunter got caught with drugs, but one of Trump's sons too.
Okay.
They just hit it better.
Money.
No, I was reading about it the other day. Don Jr. Oh, it is him. He's the one on coke.
Wow, bro.
He on that
It
premium.
looks like he's on coke in the video.
Yo,
The other
right.
video.
He got that premium.
Right. So it's him. It's the one. It's the one that he's on the podcast clip that we're showing now.
Right.
All right, go ahead. We'll move that out the way.
Straight.
Watch me get a visit or a phone call.
Oh man.
Go ahead, play this.
Forget about Saudi Arabia. Forget about the Saudis. I mean, we have more oil. I mean, infinite potential. And we're going to open markets. We're going to kick off the government from the oil sector. We are going to privatize all our industry.
Stop. Pause. When she says privatize, that means like Chiquita Banana and all the agriculture. So now she's saying,
she's willing to do business.
well, the government should control that because then it will enrich the people.
Right.
She said we're gonna privatize it. Who you think's gonna come in and privatize it? They've never let Venezuela build that thing up. And before you had Chavez and now Maduro in power, the U.S. was heavily involved. That's why they're grimy and thirsty right now, because they brought in U.S. companies to try to teach them how to refine the oil. But they put these contingencies on it where they have to give away basically the whole cow.
Right.
And then they get a piece of it so that they could process the oil, because they've never let them build up. It's the same thing like the end of poverty. They don't teach them how to be self-sufficient.
Right.
They teach them how to be dependent so that they can go ahead and process these things. When she says privatize, what that means is I'm going to let all these wealthy, rich white companies, the Exxons, all these oil companies, BP from Europe and whatever, Shell, you guys can come in and buy up stake in this stuff. Go ahead.
has huge resources, oil, gas, minerals, land, technology. And as you said before, we have a strategic location, hours from the United States. So we're going to do this right. We know what we have to do. And American companies are in, super strategic position to invest. This country, Venezuela, is going to be the brightest opportunity for investment of American companies, of good people that are going to make a lot of money. Forget about Saudi Arabia.
That
Forget
bitch, bro. I'm sorry.
Right.
Oh my goodness, bro.
She disregarded her own people and said that they are the
No,
good people.
I think she's regarding her people. I don't think she's
Oh, I
Jake.
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
I don't think
see what
she's
you're saying.
Jake.
I see what you're saying.
I think she has white man
White
flowing
man.
through her blood.
Yes.
I think
See,
she has
this
white man
reminds me of, remember Jason in the book of Maccabees.
Yes.
His ass paid to be the high priest.
Yes.
The king granted him the rule.
Yes.
And he brought his own nation.
You want to read it? You got it ready?
Well, yeah, but it's a lot of reading, so that's why I just summarized.
Okay, all right. So you're giving the summary.
Yeah.
But quote it so that people can read it and look for it.
Yeah, when you read 2 Maccabees chapter 4, you had a man by the name of Jason. He wanted to be high priest. I'm going to summarize it. So he paid the king during the time 303 talents of silver. When he was set up by the king and got the rule, he brought his own nation to the Greekest fashion.
It's the same thing.
But it's a bitch now, so I'm sorry.
No, she's a bitch.
Can I read something for you?
Yeah, bring it up. What you got?
The book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. That's all I thought of.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they're literally trying to live deliciously off of our people while we're impoverished on the bottom. And at the end, this is going to be their end result. They keep on doing it.
Yeah. Right.
Playing.
Yeah, you put that quote up. Go ahead. Come on.
When you are praised by the colonists, it means that you are bad for your people. When they say you are bad, it means that you are good for your people. The day they say I'm good, that'll mean I betrayed you.
And you know something, man? That's whole true because Europe did primarily Europe did the same thing with Africa, right? So what the white man in the Eastern Hemisphere has done with Africa, all right? That's what the white man here in the Western Hemisphere is doing with what's called Latin America, right?
And they set it
and
up
it's
right.
exploitation of the resources and all this other stuff, right? And let me tell you something. Trump praised the hell out of it. She called him right after she won the Nobel Peace Prize. And then she, kissing his ass, because remember, he's been trying to jockey for one, is saying that he should get one. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's go back to my notes here, all right?
Crazy.
The playbook of an empire. That's what you're seeing. It's the same what we saw biblically, and that's what you're seeing here, right? And let me tell you something. Venezuela, with all its resources, should be as rich as Saudi Arabia is. Should be as rich as Dubai is.
Right.
Just from the oil alone. But don't think it's just oil. There's minerals. There's all types of stuff there.
Right.
Like Venezuela should be like the jewel of Latin America, based on all the stuff there. Right now, I'm gonna say it's probably Panama because of the canal.
Yeah.
And then even then, it's only like certain parts of Panama City. Like, you know, you go to Colombia and other parts, and you wouldn't think that there's money there, right?
Yeah.
So you could tell it's all kind of privatized and the way they strategically keep the money with the wealthiness and everything like that. And that's why when we go to Panama, bro, a lot of times, especially when you're in Panama City, a lot of them are full of crap. They're pretty high-minded for the freaking squalor that they live in.
For the poverty they're in. Yeah.
But anyway, don't get me pissed, bro, because the Panama pissed me off the last time we were there. But the playbook of an empire, they have a 4-step pattern, right? And if you look at it through the empires here in the Bible, like we showed certain examples, and what you see. Now we're going to deal with Venezuela so you can see this, all right? Identify a nation with resources or a strategic position, right? Oil in Venezuela, right? Colombia right now has minerals and geography. Venezuela, remember, she mentioned strategic position. Colombia is part of this too, right? It's just a little harder for him to do the propaganda there because Colombia has been so helpful with them over the years, right? But you think about where they're located strategically, right? How easy it is to gain access and everything through there. I mean, that's pretty much, you look at the map, it's that whole upper northeastern portion, right?
Yeah.
Of South America,
right.
okay? 2, they discredit its leadership. So he's starting to do that with Gustavo Petro too, right? They call them dictators. They call them narco regimes, right? So if they can't say that, so if you can't say they're dictators, you call them narco regimes, and then you say it's a threat to democracy. And then behind that, you say there's human rights abuses, right? It's this whole campaign of how they do this stuff. And then 3rd, they apply pressure and create a crisis. The positioning of the ships, how they're doing things, they start attacking things, right? And they create a crisis. Then they start sanctions. Then they start economic warfare, right? Tariffs. Bruh. He has Brazil with 50. So he has the Latin American countries at each other's throats because Brazil don't want to sign on with certain things because they're like, damn, we try to get out under these 50% tariffs, so on and so forth, right? Then they do covert ops. Didn't we just read that he's going to put the CIA in there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm showing you all this stuff.
Like,
And then-
you said, by the time they put that out, they've already been doing
Right.
this.
And then they fund the opposition, which he's targeting this chick. That's not the last you're going to see of this chick.
Nope.
That's not the last you're going to see. Machita, whatever the hell her name was, right?
Yeah.
And then they enter as the savior. Right? Humanitarian missions, restoring democracy, counter drug operations, and then peacekeeping missions, right? Let's get Daniel 8:25.
The book of Daniel, chapter 8 and verse 25. And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
Right, now you're out again. I don't know what's up with your mic. Is that the fancy Rode mic that's supposed to be better than these
Mic
mics?
check, mic check.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's the real mic.
Daniel
Got it.
8:25.
I got it. I can't hear. My mic is out.
You can't?
Yeah, my mic is out.
Daniel chapter 8, verse 25. And through his policy also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
Right, so this is the craftiness that we read in Psalms 83. He calls craft to prosper in his hand. Go ahead, come on.
And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
So when he says he magnifies himself, you see they're going to come in as the savior. They enter as the savior, right? Go ahead, come on.
He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand.
Right, and then what else they do? Reinforcements. That's Habakkuk 2 and 5, right? We quoted it earlier.
That's the one.
Habakkuk 2 and 5. And then after that, I want Micah 2, 1 and 2. This sums up the whole, the creed, the doctrine, and the sword. Go ahead.
Habakkuk 2 and verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine.
With his other doctrines, right? Go ahead, come on.
He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home.
That's the whole Monroe doctrine right there. Go ahead, come on.
Who enlargeth his desire as hell.
They want the minerals. They want the oil. They want the geographic location. Go ahead, come on.
And is as death, and cannot be satisfied.
And they won't, because they did all this from 1948 up until they changed the name of the school, and now you see it repeating itself again, right? And even before that, because this thing was declared in 1823. Go ahead, come on.
But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Right. So through his policy, that's those doctrines, that's decrees, that's laws, that's agreement. By peace, he shall destroy many. What's his peace? He does not use aggressive tactics, but things like sanctions, interventions, calling it drug wars, under humanitarian pretext. That's why I say by his peace, right? Because it's not peace. It doesn't say by peace. It says by his peace.
Right.
His version of peace.
Right.
Right? And then it says he's never satisfied. He's always expanding, right? Let's get Micah 2 and 1.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
They day and night, they dream about it. Go ahead, come on.
When the morning is light, they practice it.
Meaning they do this stuff in broad daylight. How? Because they do it under crafty vices, right? They're crafty devices. They'll say that it's for humanitarian aid. They'll say it's this. They'll say it's that. Go ahead, come on.
Because it is in the power of their hand.
Because they got the rule. What does it mean in the power of their hand? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? Go ahead, come on.
And they covet fields and take them by violence.
They want oil fields. They want mineral fields, right? Bring this up to modern times. And they take them by violence. Go ahead, come on.
And houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
They oppress the whole nation that they got there, right? Oils, minerals, trade routes, right? So what's happening there now in Venezuela? Like I said, they got the huge oil reserves. It's not under U.S. control. I'm sure internally they're saying we need that to be economically stable. We need that to be able to level the playing field so we're not so dependent on other nations, right? They have a government that doesn't align with U.S. interests. And you know they never like that, right? They're never on board with that. Heavy sanctions is what's choking Venezuela.
Yeah.
They should have all the wealth that everything's entitled to, that they're entitled to, right? Yeah, that's a good one. Put that
That's
up.
really
Let's
good,
look up the
yeah.
crude oil reserves, right?
Wow, look at that compared
So
to
check
Saudi
this out.
Arabia.
Check this out.
Crazy.
You need to see the reserves and the exports, right? They have 303.22 billions of barrels in reserve, yet they only export the smallest amount of all the oil countries because of the sanctions, right? Saudi Arabia has the second largest,
Crazy.
and yet they have the highest output. That's why I say they could be as rich as Saudi Arabia. Look, even Iran, who nobody likes,
Right.
is exporting oil out. Canada, right? Kuwait, Russia is a big player right? Look at the U.S. with the least amount and how much I'm telling you, they see
crazy.
that 125 billion will turn into 200 billion and more, and very little of it will stay in Venezuela. Very little of it will stay in Venezuela.
Goal.
That's their
They
goal.
want to get rid of the Saudi Arabians, utilize Venezuela because of their location, how close they are, and their hand in it.
What this chart shows you is that the amount of oil reserves should be bringing you wealth.
Right. It's like you said, they should be.
Why
just as well.
isn't it happening in Venezuela? We know why, because of everything that we've gone over on this show so far.
Yep.
It's that crafty council, right? So heavy sanctions chokes the economy. Same way that they're choking Cuba. Cuba should be a tourist paradise.
Yes.
Cuba's resources, their doctors and their teachers.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that the island has the potential, because when we went, you could see that if they could just be lifted from them sanctions, that it's like a paradise.
Wow.
They might not have a lot as far as natural resources, as far as being a small island, but their tourism business could boom. When they were letting certain ships go to the U.S. part, they were letting cruises and stuff stop there for a little while. People were highly interested. They could really, they have intelligent people that are resourceful because they've been able to survive these oppressive sanctions for what? It started in the 60s. So what are you talking about? 80 years almost?
Yeah.
Right?
Damn.
50, 60, 70, 80 years.
Hey, Deke, real quick. Deuteronomy 28.
Hold on. I'm still going over my points. Recognition of an interim president chosen by the U.S. They're lining up this Machida chick. They try to back another person, right? They use intelligence. They use diplomatic pressure and covert ops, right? Often working through neighboring states. They try to work through different things, right? What's at stake in Colombia, right? Long-term U.S. ally and proxy in the region, but now there's some friction there. We saw that they're not sharing intelligence. They host U.S. military bases and advisors. Deep DEA and CIA special forces presence in Colombia, right? That's why he's like, damn, this guy's not cooperating with me. If I can get guys in Colombia, which is right next door to Venezuela, I can put pressure, right? Acts as a staging ground for actions against Venezuela. But they're not buying it, so it's throwing a monkey wrench. So now he's pissed at them, right? And many officers have trained directly in U.S. institutions that are from Colombia, right? Go ahead, bring your scripture because I got some more that I'm going to bring out.
Yeah, I was just making that point of we was realizing that these countries, which are Israelites, are not benefiting from the stuff that's on that land.
Right.
And that goes back to Deuteronomy 28 and 33.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 33. The fruit of thy land
All that oil that Venezuela has, read.
and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
No matter how much resources or riches that the lands have, guess what? Another nation is going over there to eat it up, to take control of it.
Right.
No matter how much, that chart is crazy. How much oil we have and how much exports going out, that's control of the other nations.
Oh, I thought you were Judah. You talking about we?
Hey, man.
You down?
Come
We
on.
down?
Come on,
Let's
Dan.
go.
You down? He said how much oil we have.
Come on.
I said, okay, all right, he down. Hey, and that goes with the next scripture I'm going to bring up. Proverbs 29 and 2, right? Proverbs 29 and 2. You fixed your mic?
Yes, sir. The book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
Right, so if they can just get the U.S. influence out of there and they wouldn't have this stuff here, you would put the people that should be in power over there and they would do well. Go ahead, come on.
But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
His thing went
Not
out again.
again.
But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. The United States is the ones that are really the movers and shakers and that hold sway over these countries, right? Over these countries.
Most of them.
And let me tell you something, nothing good ever comes in looking for other nations towards stuff, right? Get Lamentations 4:17. The people in this country are mourning. You got all this migration, this poverty, this violence, this instability, right? It says when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
Right.
Because of why? WINSEC, School of the Americas, all this United States influence. Go ahead, read this.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help.
Vain help, meaning that you think they're doing something for you, but it's vanity, it's worthless. Go ahead, come on.
and are watching. We have watched for a nation that could not save us.
Right. So the people in those countries are mourning from those things. Many look to the U.S. or so-called Western powers for help. But the scriptures calls that vain help, right?
Right.
Our people are scattered in those lands and they're caught in the middle of empire games. They're just pawns of all these people that want to be empowered, that want to be raised up, and that want to be in positions of authority. Yeah. And then who suffers? Everybody down at the bottom of it, right? I think years back I did a show that said that a lot of professional, intelligent Venezuelans, a lot of them have to work in prostitution so that they can provide, because it pays more than regular jobs. Yeah, because of the way things are screwed up over there, right? Look, Latino Americans for Trump. Shame on that. Idiots. Shame on that. Not seeing what he's doing over here in our countries, right? So America really is a parallel of modern Greece and modern Rome, right? The U.S. behaves like Greece and Rome did over Israel, and they're doing the same thing over Israelites that are scattered in these countries in these last days, right? Remember, when in 1 Maccabees 1, right, 41 on down, it says that he wrote that all should be one people. Yep. Greece wanted everyone under one culture, one system, and one obedience. Right. What do they tell you? Oh, you got to be American. Assimilation, right? U.S. demands one economic model. They want everybody to be on the same economic model. Trump was threatening that if any country tries to go off the dollar, he's going to go crazy. Yeah. Right? Yeah. That was so strategic that they made the dollar the benchmark for all the currencies in the world, for all trade. Right. All trade happens in the dollar. And that's what that's why I said when the dollar's up, right? That's when other currencies go down. And when the dollar's down, that's when other currencies are worth more. Yep. Right? One political line. Everybody has to be part of the democracy, right? If you're not part of a democracy and you don't have a democratic country, they don't like to deal with you on the same footing, right? And then they want you to have the same foreign policy stance as them, okay? You put puppet rulers and alliances, right? That was what we read in 1 Maccabees 8. Rome helped kings into power and then controlled them, right? U.S. does that with backed presidents, friendly parties, leaders trained and supported by U.S. institutions, right? And then you have internal collaborators. You brought out Jason already, right? So you had Jason, Israelite, and then Menelaus, Israelite, who sold their people to curry favor with the Greeks. Today you have local elites. You have this Machida chick, right? Generals, politicians who work hand in hand with U.S. interests, right? And then you got the riches and deceit, right? In Sirach 10 and 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated. You got resources and power shifts hands through deceitful dealings. They do loans. Look at the stuff that they did to Puerto Rico with the Jones Act and what they're still under over there, right? They do contracts. They do these oil deals. They do these mining deals, privatizations, right? I spoke about that. They go in there. She said, you can privatize it. We won't let the government run the oil, right? All those things are deceptive tactics. So when you see America in Latin America, you're watching the same thing replay. It's modern day Greece and Rome, right? We read Psalms 94 and 20 earlier, right? When it says, which frame of mischief by a law. So you have the Monroe Doctrine. You have the Roosevelt Corollary. You have national security acts, sanction regimes, and immigration laws, right? All of it is mischief framed by a law. We ran over Isaiah 10, 1 and 2, right? It says, warn to them that decree unrighteous decrees. Laws that criminalize migrants. That's unrighteous decrees. Remember, I gave the example of, we thought they were talking about rapists, murderers, and all this other stuff, right? And what it turned out being is that if you're here illegally at all, that's it, right? Yep. You're done, right? Legal frameworks that justify coups and interventions. They do sanctions that starve. It literally starves populations. Right. When you were in Cuba, we walked through one of the supermarkets. The shelves were bare. And they give these little coupons out that allows them to buy, but only a certain amount. Damn. Like one loaf of bread a month. Yeah, well, some of us have bread that goes stale on the counter. Right. Damn. Because we forget about it. They get one loaf of bread a month. One little piece of meat. Right? I remember when we told them that they can't eat pork, they said, then we won't live. We'll die. That's wild. They said we'll die. They said we'll die. I remember Bishop Kanai was going over that with one of the pastor's wives when we were in one of their churches. And her eyes lit up. She said, damn, if we don't eat pork, we don't eat. Crazy. She said, we got to eat it, right? We got to eat it. So you have wicked dictators. They support U.S. interests. You have democratically elected leaders that they target if you don't support U.S. interests. And then citizens and migrants then become condemned, right? And then the corrupt rulers, they justify.
Right.
So if you're on board with their stuff, right, they go with it. Like look at this Bukele guy, right? I was kind of liking some of the stuff he said. Before Trump got into office, he was talking against America. He had videos and stuff where he said some profound stuff about like open your eyes. Trump got into office. He worked out a deal for some nuclear power and some stuff like that. I think he wants to build a nuclear power plant.
Bukele is the El Salvador guy?
The El Salvador guy.
Okay.
The El Salvador guy. That he started working out. He said, hey, take some migrants or whatever. Remember, I went over that show earlier in the year. And there was a deal with Marco Rubio that they signed. That if they take migrants and he toes the line, right, the same line, that they would allow him to build a nuclear power plant to power El Salvador, right? So now you got stable energy that comes in, right? So I'm moving to close with this. I'm not gonna hit all these scriptures because it's already late. So what you got to see what's going on in Colombia and Venezuela is not new. All right. It's not anything new. You saw the same type of things happen strategically with Greece and Rome, how they dealt in these type of things. And I have more stuff in here that I could have brought out. There's different things that we could have spoke about. Maybe as follow-up shows, we'll look at some of these things and we'll go over some of this stuff. But was wild. I want you to stop for a second and think about this. All this is happening under Trump, right? Because the Lord grants it, right? You read that in Daniel, it's at the basis of men up. Mm-hmm. He hasn't even done 1 full year in office. Stop for a second.
Talk about shortening the time.
Stop for a second and think about that. He hasn't even done 1 full year in office.
Right.
So if you don't think that you're going to see some stuff pop off in Venezuela and Colombia, there's no way that you spend the money, the fuel, and the resources to send all these warships to the coast of Venezuela and into the Caribbean and all this stuff, and something's not going to happen. Mark my words, you're going to see something pop off. Whether it's covert, whether it's more overt, right? You do not send ships. It costs money to move an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money.
I was about to say it costs a lot of money.
Millions upon millions of dollars to send personnel, subs, because an aircraft carrier doesn't come alone. It comes with an accompaniment of destroyers and different types of ships. I go, those Navy guys know. Navy, they know. The Navy guys know. Those ships don't travel alone, right? And to deploy that stuff and then not do anything, I highly doubt it. I'm not saying it's gonna be all out war over there, because as much as it's a war, what do they got to really fight back? That's why he said he knows that he has to go to guerrilla tactics and things like that to deal with
It's
it.
a show of muscle.
Try to do attrition, make it uncomfortable for them to try to do it.
Right.
But in the end, we know how those things end.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
In the end, we know how those things end. So nothing new.
Not even a year.
And that haven't even been
Not
a year.
even 1 year, and that's just aside from all the other stuff he's been doing as well. That's just one part of it.
Most High is using him to really kind of make the day short. I'm not saying that things are going to end with Trump and stuff. I don't know that. I don't have a feeling about it or not. I don't know that, right?
AD.
That's for the Lord to know. But I'll tell you that he's definitely
speeding up the time.
By his actions, he's speeding up. Because, you got to look at that verse in two ways, right? Some people say make the day shorter for the elect's sake.
Right.
And you can look at it the scientific way where look, the earth is spinning, it's losing a second. I don't think a second is going to make a big deal.
Right.
I think what it means is, well, let me explain it to you. Let's get Revelation 7 about that. Hold back. Actually, before you get that, let's read that about he'll make the day short for the elect's sake. And then go to Revelation 7.
It's Matthew 24.
Mm-hmm.
Tobias.
Yes, sir. We at 30.
22.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
Right. So if things continue and he just let the earth continue the way it is, we all gonna destroy ourselves. Right. He said no flesh gonna be saved. Right. But he says for what? For the elect's sake.
For the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
So what does that mean? A lot of times we look at that quite literally. We know nothing's impossible with God.
Right.
And we think, oh, he's going to make it less than a 24-hour day. Right? I'm going to show you. Revelation 7:1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 7 and verse 1. After these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another
Right.
angel.
So he says, what's holding things back then?
The angel.
The Lord.
Where's it say, though it tarry not? Wait
That's
for
in
it.
Habakkuk.
That is Habakkuk, right?
Yeah. The vision is plain.
Habakkuk.
2. We start at 1.
Right. 3. Start at 3. I'll just get to the point.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry.
Those 3 verses are saying the same thing that we read.
Right.
Those 3 verses are all saying the same thing and is dealing with the same topic. Only thing that's holding it back is the angels, right? Only thing that's holding it back is the angels, right? Meaning what? They're influencing something. They're remember, he plants things in people's ears, in their dreams, in their sleep, right? He gives his instructions, right? He sends the angels down to Trump thinking he doing this. The Lord's putting that stuff in his head.
That's heavy.
Because to shorten the days is that he's making moves in the earth during his presidency and his administration so that more of these events come to pass.
Right.
So that more of these events come to pass.
That goes into Isaiah 13. How the Lord mustered the host of the battle.
Yes.
He's doing all that.
Yes.
It reminds me of Daniel
Yes.
when he was speaking to the king of Persia.
Yes.
Go against the king of Grecia. Oh,
Yes.
dude, that's some
So
heavy
don't just
stuff.
think the days are short. A second at a time. What do you mean? Before it's done, it's going to be a 12-hour day?
right.
No, it's
No,
talking
no.
about though it tarry not. It's for an appointed time.
Yeah.
But the steps that need to happen for these things to come to pass, he's going to accelerate them during these contractions, so to speak, right?
And even in what is it, Hosea? He says, in their affliction, they'll seek me early. So by what Trump's doing, he's increasing the afflictions. We seek after the Lord.
Yes.
That's how we're going to get sealed.
So in turn, the 144 is going to rise from that quicker.
Right.
So it's all happening all at once.
Right.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing.
When you stop and you think about it that way, and you're like,
Yeah.
damn,
Yeah.
right?
You put it all together.
Yeah.
That was
why,
heavy.
That's why, I was like, damn, it can't just be that we're losing seconds or that it's going to be a 10-hour day and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, it has to be something more. It has to be something more. And when you look at those 3 verses, and there's more you could put through it, but when you look at those 3 verses together, like you said in Isaiah 13 about he musters it and everything, and you start to tie all that together, it just makes sense when you look at it that way. You were going to say something?
Oh, yeah. We were talking about like the cost, and I had just looked at how much it costs to operate a carrier strike group, and it's $1 million to $1.5 million per day.
Per day, right?
What?
And then depending on where he sold it, how he got them there and all of that stuff.
Aircraft carriers alone are $2.1 billion per year. That's
What?
crazy.
That's the show. Y'all got plus because we had to cut
Technical
off.
difficulties.
I know we lost a lot of viewers though.
Hey, we got a good
We
bit
got it
back
back.
in here though. We got a
Yeah,
good bit back in here.
You know, we should have
Not bad.
anticipated the time change and remind these people on the East Coast. That's why I always say don't put 7 Arizona time. That way, if they look up,
Right.
but we might have to mention it because people still think we're 3 hours behind. All right, Asher, bro,
Sorry, I've been.
are you gonna do your?
You were saying what I was just thinking about what you were saying towards the end. I gotta study that now. All right, so Shalom, we are seeking your assistance to enhance our national broadcast. I know we had some technical difficulties, but bear with us, pray for us, scan the QR code, let us know how we did, let us know how we could do better. I know you guys are loving the new setup. It's great, but of course, with a new setup comes different things that we got to manage. So y'all pray for us, scan the QR code, and let us know how we did. Go ahead. All right, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're coming up with new videos every single week. We got In the Classroom. We got camp videos. We're doing our days of camp and all that. So we got a lot of good stuff for y'all. And, of course, Instagram, we're always posting different things, reminding you about the fast. We're going over different history.
Hey, and not just this on social. I gotta talk to Uvain. He wasn't watching, I don't think, but we have the new OR pages, and we only have less. We have like 600 on one, like 500 on another, and the old ones used to have thousands of subscribers. We need a graphic when we do the Center tonight where we have the opportunity for them to QR code and subscribe to the new
Yes, sir.
The OR Facebook and OR Instagram, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
we need that up. We got to start pushing that. We also need to show it after every Sabbath so people can join the new pages. Everybody's on the old page, and they think we're not really pushing stuff. So a lot of exposure is not going out as far as all the different things and the merchandise we have now.
Right.
So we need to get the people onto the social media.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Hey, I was
That's
thinking about something the other day too when I was buying some more oil. When y'all get these products, especially like the beard oils and stuff like that, but everything really, leave a review. Leave a review with what you think. Leave a review with customer service, the quality of the product.
I think they get an invite to do a review. Some people have been doing it. Some people haven't doing it. Some people are not clicking the link. They're just replying to the email, which
Right.
doesn't post a review. So some of you are getting like a solicitation from us to leave a review, and I appreciate the feedback. So they reply, and I'll see their reply, but it doesn't get posted on the review thing that we have
If you don't
if you
follow
don't
the
click the
link.
link and do that, right? Hey, donate to the Booster Club, all right? Hit that QR code right there. Even $5 helps, all right? If multiples do that. We have big travel continuing to come up. You see how our people still need to hear this. Look at the influence that we went over that the United States has.
Right.
And we always trying to push this truth to the ends of the earth. Some big things coming next year for the Northern Kingdom trips we want to do too. All right, we got some things cooking. Want to break some new ground. Want to build. Brothers are actually on mission now, as well. Building up places that we have been before. Support that Booster Club, all right?
That's right. That's right. Support the Booster Club. Ezekiel
What's up? Is that
16. Little sanctuaries. Is that it? Oh, scan the QR code, the Power Hour Plus. We are on Instagram as well. I was going to tell you, we should start doing like those short videos that you always see. We could do it professionally. Just take some time after class, get a professional camera, boom, shoot some shorts, reels, and stuff like that. Not even just for the Power Hour Plus, but for the whole world to see, so we can spread this truth. Anything else?
Nope, that should be it.
That's the show. Like I said, I know y'all digging the new setup. All right.
Right.
Bro, you not being here actually really opened up the table for me.
There you go. I like it here because we could all.
I know now I get to kind of look at you a little bit, right, as I'm talking and stuff like that.
You don't have to like.
No, but I mean, we purposely did a 6-person setup, so we still got to maybe try to figure something out.
That's
But
right. Yeah, that's
we'll
right.
see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah.
All praises.
All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure that y'all keep sharing. And remember, we're on an hour earlier if you're on the East Coast, because Arizona don't change this time, all right? So, now y'all won't be so tired when we plus it, all right?
Bruh.
It's only 12 now, not 1.
Hey,
Right.
Follow the Instagram so that way you can keep up with announcements from when we're going live,
Yes,
stuff like that.
sir.
So
Yes, sir.
follow us, all right?
Yes, sir. All right, with that, we say shalom, yo.
Shalom.
This for the Southern Kingdom, Kwam Yasharallah. Hey, one nation, one nation. This for the Northern Kingdom, Viva la Raza. We one nation, one nation. This for the Southern Kingdom, Kwam Yasharallah. Hey, one nation, one nation. This for the Northern Kingdom, Viva la Raza. We one nation, one nation. It wouldn't be Israel without Mexicans. Black love, brown pride, cause we next to kin. We ain't gotta tell Esau to let's be friends, cause we above all nations and we better than them. We the salt of the earth, ayy, ayy. And we been king since birth, ayy, ayy.